Welcome back to Brush Up Your Game, and today our top rankum of Montgomery Scott. Uh, this one was a special request, and we said, okay, there's six of them. Why not? Short and sweet. Tristan, welcome back.
Aye, laddie.
Ah, yeah, I
Yeah.
will not put myself to shame by trying to sound like Scotty.
Well,
I,
I just lost all your UK viewers, so I apologize.
it's okay. Maybe we'll pick up some Irish ones. We'll make fun of the Scots together.
Here we go. All right.
Uh, yeah, I don't know where I was, but Scotty, yeah, we'll get to the thoughts later. I'm going to kick this off. Number six,
Do it.
for me, the OG Scotty. Not hideous, but not great. Nothing redeemable about this one for me. I just the start part, the action, disable two shields in order to gain +2 attack dice. I've done it. I've run this card. I've used that ability. I, I shouldn't have. It's such a risk, right? You got to
Mhm.
know that you're not getting attacked to use that. Um, and then the other side, repair a shield token and reduce your total attack by 2. Is that ever really worth it? Because I'm
No.
not sure it is. Um, yeah, I find it's like half of a good ability, and if it only had the top half, he might cost a little less, and then I might feel more inclined to try to include him. But as it is, bad.
Yeah, I'll just jump ahead here very briefly because I feel both of these Scotties are kind of on the same level for me. I really like the pair of abilities here because it is so Scotty, right? It's him putting all power to the shields, all power to the weapons. It just totally makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned before, WizKids often does a very good job of making the abilities make sense within the universe. I like that. But I mean, I agree with you. The disabled two shields for +2 attack. I think in the current environment where you have things like reinforced shielding and hull and stuff, maybe it's not as dangerous to do that. But at the same time, there are a lot of abilities that just give you extra attack dice without having to disable shields or take an action. So I think that's not as viable. And then definitely it's never worth repairing one shield to reduce your attack dice. There are other ways you can repair a shield without impacting your attack ability.
Mm-hmm.
And you're basically just you're I just don't see a situation where reducing your ability to inflict damage to your opponent is an advantage to repairing one shield when they're going to hit you with a 5, 6 attack dice, run anyway. So it's better to take them out first, and you're not going to do that when you knock off a third or half of your attack ability. Going back to my other Scotty here, again another pair of abilities, but here they really don't complement each other. You only can really use one or the other, so you're either disabling for that Aux token, and then you can't use the action. If you use the action, you lose that ability to take away that Aux. It's a little expensive too. There are at least two other versions of Scotty that deal with Aux tokens and do it better and cheaper. And I just don't feel that there's any situation where I want to spend an action and discard a card to repair two damage to my ship. I'd rather just spend the 3 points to beef up my ship's hull by 2 points initially and not have to worry about spending an action somewhere down the road when I'd rather need an evade or a battle station token or something like that. So
I do understand that. I did rank, what is it? Movie movie one Scotty a little higher. For me, the what is this? Search for Spock Scotty, I think.
uh, yeah,
Bounty
because he's got
Scotty.
he's got the
Yeah.
captain's uniform on there. Yeah.
Uh, I like that he gives me a slot. under the original ruling of at any time, this was great, but that got messed up. And I don't know, with all the other Scotties, it almost feels lackluster that I only get one ability, that I can only disable him to remove an Ox Power token. And then I got to do it at the start of a phase, which means I'm kind of stuck with my Ox Power for a little bit. I'm not getting an action the turn I take a red maneuver, and that it just kind of leaves me wanting a little bit more. And I'm completely whelmed by this card. I
Fair enough.
I just I kind of go eh. If I want the slots, I'll find them cheaper. If I um, yeah, if I want the ability to remove Ox, I'll take the Vulcan tech. That's kind of where I'm at. Yeah, not terrible. Just something. Ooh, we have much disagreement in this list, which is probably healthy.
Yeah, I'm actually. I mean, I'm a little disappointed in this card considering how late it came out in the game. Um, I want to like this card because the animated faction pack is probably one of my favorites because I love the animated series. I love the fact that it's gotten a lot more appreciation uh, over time, and that the WizKids has shown it some love.
Yeah,
And there's some really great cards in there. I just feel like this version of Scotty, yeah, I mean
is not one of them.
yeah, it's you're spending an action, then you gotta disable them on top of that. You repair up to a shield in one hole. I just feel like the ability is very old school Wiz Kids game, right? Where
Mm-hmm.
you're doing an action disable. Um, so if you want to use this more than once, you're going to spend a ton of time re-enabling it, right? If you want to use this twice, you're really having to find some way to spend 3 actions to re-enable them,
Yeah.
or find some other combo. I mean, he does work really well within the faction pack. You have MRES and you have Kirk, so you could effectively use them every turn if you want to. So I could see again, Prometheus is always my go-to on this kind of stuff. Put him on the Prometheus with Kirk and MRES and regenerative shields and stuff, and it could become a pretty beefy ship. But outside of those kind of very niche situations, I don't like how this plays out. So
I'm with you. Um, so Kelvin Scotty was a bright spot of the Kelvin movies. Don't get me wrong. Um, and it's not that I have anything against this ability, but three three turns after repairing a shield, I get to repair a hull. Well, I guess at that point I'll actually have hull damage. But
yeah,
then 3 turns later, I'll get a shield back. My ship will probably be dead by then. Um, and it just kind of is that idea of it's too much time for him ever to really be useful. He's maybe arguably the best version of Scotty because he doesn't take an action, he just
hmm
exists. And if you want to invest into the combo to have less time tokens on him, he's very good. But I had to look at the card as itself. And I think that just repairing that slowly isn't going to do a ton for me. There's times, don't get me wrong, there's times it'll work, but I couldn't rank him that highly. That said, if you're trying to run mirror, I'd rank him a lot higher because he can go on any of the mirror ships, and then I would rank him higher.
yeah. I mean, you make some great points there. I I like the passiveness of it, so I like him a little bit more. But
Yeah, and again, nothing going wrong there. Um, yeah. So, well, I'm sure we're going to be talking over each other at this point, but uh, here, you want to go with Bounty
yeah, sure.
Scotty?
I mean, I just think he's a little better version of the other movie era Scotty. He's a little bit cheaper.
Sure.
I mean, so you figure he's got two abilities. Each ability is worth 2 points. I mean, to get an upgrade on a ship for 2 points, and then be able to remove an Ox token for 2 points for a disable, not having to spend an action. I think it's a fair price, and I guess I have some affinity for cards that give you extra slot options on ships,
Sure.
because there are so many times when I'm building where I'm like, oh, I wish I had another tech slot on here. I wish I had another weapon slot. So, I think that's why I rate him a little bit higher here.
Okay.
Um,
I,
not amazing, but I think solid for what he has.
no, I understand. So I have motion picture Scotty. That's what I wanted to say the first time. Uh, and I like the thing that stands out for me is that you can disable him in the moment you take that Ox Power token. That's why I rank him higher
Mm.
than the bounty Scotty, because you can still get your action or actions in that. He's expensive. He's all kinds of expensive. And then if you have that combo, you don't have to, but if you do, or if you spend the action to re-enable, he is kind of that last ditch. Okay, I need to discard this card and get 2 whole damage off of my ship. Maybe it's after a cheat death. And you can say, oh, I want more than 1 health. I want 3 health on my ship. Okay. You can make that happen. I don't think I've ever run this. I don't think I've ever run. Maybe I've run Kelvin Scotty. I've run TOS Scotty. But yeah, for the most part, I have not run these Scotties. These are not great versions of Scotty.
Mhm.
I still hope for a better version of Scotty before this game ends at some point. Which brings us to number 2. And okay.
Flipping him around here.
Yeah, hey. It was inevitable. One thing's for sure, we agree on number 1, though.
We do.
You want to talk Kelvin?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. Three time tokens is a little much, maybe even a little expensive at 3 points for that. But there aren't at least not to my knowledge, aside from maybe like regenerative shield and stuff, there aren't a ton of repair abilities that are not action based. Most of the time, you're spending an action to repair something. Um, I think Exocomp might be another example where it's not an action, but so to have that ability, even if it's a little bit limited, I like it. And you're right. You're going to start with the shield side, Scotty. Right? You're going to repair that shield, and then a couple turns later, you can repair a hole, and it's not a ton of saving grace there, but it may be enough to survive another round or two. It's effectively, if you're repairing 2 hit points, it's effectively the same cost as say reinforced hull or shielding, uh, but it's on a crew card. So you have the ability to extend the life of the ship a little bit more, and it's not really costing you anything in terms of action economy. And there's ways to speed that up with Esri or Bashir or what have you. So
Sure. Yeah, Exocomp is 4 points, 2 time tokens, but
yeah,
only repairing to the hull.
yeah, there you go.
So a little more expensive. Oh, and a tech slot, not a crew slot,
Yeah.
which we
Hmm.
can have that philosophical argument later.
Yeah, I think if it would have came out later, we probably would have been crew or tech. We saw EMH got crew tech, things like that.
Well,
So
Exocomp came out in the 2017 starter. That's what's
did it really?
weird.
I thought
Yeah.
okay, I thought it was earlier than that. Yeah,
No.
okay. Huh.
See, what we need is lower decks, and to get Peanut Hamper.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that in the TNG era, they weren't actually crew. They weren't even considered life forms. So it makes sense that
Eh.
they would be tech. Yeah.
But yeah, I think you've won me over. That Kelvin Scotty should be higher on my list. I'm not going to retroactively change it, but Kelvin Scotty should be a little higher on my list. I don't think number 2 high, but higher, um, because he is passive, and I do appreciate my passive abilities. But I also think Kelvin Scotty should be 2 time tokens, not 3.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't I wouldn't argue with that.
No,
So
nobody should, but it would make him much more usable.
yeah,
So, animated Scotty. I think for me, the reason he went to number 3, I like the ability and how flexible it is. The fact that you can use them right away to repair a shield if need be. You can wait until later to repair a hull and a shield. If you happen to just sustain a hull damage, I don't know, maybe there was hidden explosives involved. Not going to question it. But you can repair. You can repair in any way that you take damage. And that kind of flexibility is very nice. I can wish the card was better all day long. But this feels like a great option to have. And yeah, I can dislike all the action disables all I want, and I harp on them plenty. I think action disable should be reserved for powerful, potent cards. But as you've said, there's plenty of ways to recover from that. Julian Bashir is an easy one, but that continues to be a cop out over and over and over again, and shouldn't be the answer to everything.
yeah.
But it is. It's an answer to at least one thing, and I like that I can repair. I wish it said even better. Just repair up to 2 shields or hull uh, in any combination you want. That would be even better. But
That
it's
would make it
not.
much better.
And
Yeah.
uh, yeah, he's cheaper, and this to me is the point where I started going, okay, I can at least run this card in somewhat good conscience. And before this, I was kind of going, I don't know about that. If you move Kelvin up there, I could run Kelvin in good conscience, but it's yeah, these versions of Scotty are just not amazingly strong for me. Number 1 is though Relic Scotty, and perhaps the most fun appearance of Jimmy Doohan in my mind.
Another fantastic TNG episode. Yes.
I would have liked a Generation Scotty. Hey, that gives me hope. We could still get Generation Scotty.
Yeah, he's coming out on Tuesday.
Yeah, yeah. Um, but the famous bar on the card. Whenever you would place an Ox Power token beside the ship, place that token on this card. Max of 2. And then, as an action, put 2 time tokens on this card. Target a ship with a construction equipped within range 1 to 2. If that ship is this ship or a friendly ship, it performs a 2 straight. If that ship's an opposing ship, place any Ox Power tokens from on this card beside the target ship. So, trade-offs. But boy, how I can hope. I can hope amongst all hopes that there is some construction upgrade coming that is not prototype that can go on the Enterprise.
I mean, you have to imagine that there are. I mean, I think it's been heavily implied that there are going to be more construction cards,
Uh-huh.
right?
Because if I
And
can put a construction on the original Enterprise, this is a slam dunk, like moving into the top 20 best crew, period.
like a refit construction card, I can see that. Yeah,
Could be a refit, could be a something like Legacy of the Name.
yeah.
Um, but I don't know. I don't know what's coming. I can only hope.
Well, I mean, I like this card a lot because number one, I mean, just to get rid of 2 Ox tokens uh, for 3 points is pretty solid. And
Mm-hmm.
then on top of that, you have an action. In this card's only going to get better as they release more stuff, and they will release more stuff, even though Star Trek Attack Wing 2, The Search for More Money is coming out soon. um, that we're going to see some more faction packs, and sometimes as pessimistic as I feel about this game, sometimes I feel pretty confident that they will have some more construction cards. So it's going to be able to target more and more ships. But just beyond the card itself and the ability, I love kind of the subtle implications of how this card would fit into the grander universe, right? So, I mean, it's Relic Scotty, and there's the implications of him being able to keep the Janolan running for and keep himself in the pattern buffer for 85 years and how that plays into it. But then also, the Excelsior can be targeted by a Federation prototype right now, so there's kind of that suggestion of he can pass those Ox tokens onto an Excelsior because he mucked up the works in Search for Spock, and then the fact that this card came out in Ships of the Line alongside the Da Vinci, which if you get into the beta canon, the Da Vinci was uh, part of the Starfleet Corps of Engineers ship, and Scotty at that point was in charge of the Starfleet Corps of Engineers after he gets off of the Genolan and back into service essentially after Next Generation. So to me, just looking at it from a lore perspective, this card works at so many levels, and I love it for that as well.
That is great. Yeah. Um, this this Scotty's just a really cool card. I mean, the best of the best Scotties by far. Plus, an extra two straight is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're just saving your a single ox and then doing this as your action, it's still a better action than no action. And then you put your ox power down. Okay, cool. I did an extra two straight. Done. Let's move on. So
Yeah.
it can help, especially in like your race missions, trying to go somewhere. Getting an extra two straight, that's better than Admiral Forrest.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
Combo with oh, is it Helmsman from the Romulan Alliance pack that lets you do any green maneuver
Yeah, that's a great one
at the
too.
start of activation phase? So you can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You can do any red maneuver. So I'm thinking like the Sovereign that does a six straight red, and then Scotty to take it and then do a two white straight. I think you're
Yeah,
doing what, like a two, a six, and a two?
I mean, you could really get a ship to move around.
Yeah.
Uh, with with uh, I mean, there's a lot of options there,
Yeah.
but you put Picard on there to get another action. Uh, put him on there, the Sovereign with Forrest, where Forrest gets a free movement.
Ooh.
Now,
Yeah.
now you can do a bank and then a straight, or a straight and a bank, or uh,
Yeah.
you know, you put him on the Defiant, so Defiant can do a come about. Don't have to worry about the Ox token. Now, he can charge right back into the battle, whatever you want to do.
That's
So,
good. Gallers to let him turn.
yep. Mm-hmm.
I mean, any of
Excelsior
those,
to let him turn.
the
Yeah.
Excelsiors to let him turn, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, I and I will say this. I think I've said it other places, but we've talked about it. Have hope. I do know there's at least three faction packs coming. So I I don't know specifics. I don't know beyond that, but I know there's at least three. So um, I figure one of them, from what I know, at least one of them will have some construction. I don't know specifically. I can't 100% guarantee, but what I do know about them, it would make sense that they would have construction upgrades. I would highly doubt that one of them does, but it'll have some other cool stuff. And then the third one, I have no idea what special thing's going to be in there. But
Well, we got to get that all Miranda faction pack with the roll bar construction card. That's what I want.
I look, I I am a Kelsey Grammer fan. Nothing would make me happier in this game than to get a Morgan Bateson captain card. I want Morgan Bateson as a captain for Attack Wing.
I uh I was more than 50-50 confident that he was going to show up in Ships of the Line. So, um, especially since I think there was a novel called Ship of the Line where he was the main character. But anyway,
Yeah.
yeah, I would like to have him show up here. That'd be a great little him and Captain who's the I can't think of his name now. Satalk. He was the captain of the Jupiter, and he presided
Oh
over the Nova
yeah.
Squadron hearing.
It's like
Anyway,
Satellek or
yeah, 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 yeah,
Satelic,
yeah. So,
something
yeah,
like
something like
that.
that. Yeah.
I'm also a fan of Star Trek Armada, which had, was it the Jupiter?
Yeah, so in that game, he was the captain of the Jupiter and had the. See, I was hoping we'd see the Jupiter and Ships of the Line, and we get a
Yeah.
pulsar chain reaction
Yep. I want that
secondary
weapon.
weapon. Yeah.
I really do. I think that is, whenever we go to continuing committee, that is a big design priority. I want to get a good chain reactor pulsar.
Yeah.
I've wanted that for a long time, but we shall see. All right, but Scotty, like, could be a better character, and I think, well, I want to think there's at least one more chance to get him right, but we can hope. So, all right, Tristan, anything else to add?
Yeah, just one thing that I kind of came across, and I don't know if you noticed this as well. I felt like the diversity of abilities with Scotty just wasn't there compared to some of the other crew and captain we've gone through. I mean, we've done Geordi, we've done Data, Riker, Picard. I feel like each one has its kind of own flavor. And here, Scotty, everything was either removing Ox tokens or repairing damage, and there wasn't a lot of in between.
Yeah, it did
Um,
feel that way.
and I guess again that's what Scotty does. He's the miracle worker, but um, I think the ships of the line version, the relics Scotty probably is closest to maybe that miracle worker. He's just got a lot of things going on for him. But yeah, I do think would be nice to maybe have one more shot at a Scotty card if there's that opportunity.
It also occurs to me that all of these cards miss out on the fact that he was number 3 in command of the Enterprise.
We need a Captain Scotty. That's the other thing I wanted to bring up.
Yeah.
There should be a Captain Scotty. Yeah.
And even if his ability has to do with ox power mitigation or repairing damage, I'm okay with that. But we need a captain version of him.
Yeah,
Because I would very
for
much
sure.
like to see that. So
Yeah.
we shall see. All right. Folks, thanks for joining us. And we'll be back next week with some more goodies. All right. Uh, until then, take care and keep brushing up your game. Take care.